Hello, my name is James Hunter, and this is my 2 cents channel where I talk about different topics from mental health to physical fitness and just topics of interest. And today in this video, what I'm going to talk about is forgiveness and the idea or the concept of forgiveness and ways of looking at it in terms of what it can mean and also what it doesn't necessarily have to mean. And we run into problems sometimes with certain individuals who have problems with being able to have healthy boundaries with people and who have problems with being able to practice self-care and to be advocates for themselves or to be assertive. And what can happen is that because people have a distorted idea of what forgiveness is supposed to mean, and sometimes that can happen because of culture or because of what people tell them what it has to be. But ultimately, you're the one who lives your life. You're the one who goes to sleep with your thoughts every night, and you're the one who has to live within your experience every day. So you have the right to be the decider. You have the right to be the person who decides what is a healthy relationship that's going to be beneficial to yourself, or thought of as, some who use the term interdependent, mutually beneficial relationships. So let's talk about forgiveness. I think sometimes with forgiveness, it's kind of gets an extreme view in terms of what it's supposed to be, and that can happen sometimes because of people's different religious beliefs or spiritual beliefs. And so they think their premise, if you will, is that for it to be forgiveness of another, to forgive another person, that means you don't hold nothing against them, you release them of any feelings you may have had. And therefore, you continue to have a relationship with that person now. And the problem with that is that that type of forgiveness can set people up to continue to be in a situation where they are abused. Certain people may be caught up in toxic relationships where they are abused, either emotionally, physically, or they don't even necessarily have to be physically abused, but they can be emotionally abused, not appreciated, taken advantage of, if you will. They essentially are just a part or a variable, if you will, to meet that other person's needs. Kind of like someone is being used, right? So in these situations, a person, if they have an extreme view of forgiveness, they recognize this person's doing them wrong, they're not respecting them, they're taking advantage of them, and let's say they just do something just plain out nasty or mean, okay? So in their mind, they feel, well, I said I forgave them, and if I forgave them, that means I guess I need to continue hanging out with them or continue participating in that relationship. And that's the thing about relationships. It's voluntary. You choose to participate in them. I don't believe in any situation where you're 100% a victim. It's a process by participation. So the problem with that is, it can perpetuate people staying in situations that are just simply not healthy. I see this with people in recovery who are trying to recover from alcohol or substance use type of disorders and addictions. They typically can have very unhealthy relationships where they're abused, very toxic, unhealthy situation. So when looking at creating a new relationship, they'll say, well, part of recovery is I got to forgive people. Well, that's fine. You can forgive them. It doesn't mean, though, however, you have to participate in that relationship anymore, particular to ones that are abusive. So really, when people, if they apologize for their behavior, but they don't change their behavior, then that's not an apology, that's manipulation. So with forgiveness, here's what forgiveness in just a healthy sense can be as it relates to you. So being able to forgive somebody means you don't wish them any harm, you don't have any ill energy towards them or any ill will towards them at all. You are completely releasing them. And a big part of that is so you can move forward with your life, so you can have peace. So forgiveness, first and foremost, is for yourself. You forgive other people to where you can have peace, to where you don't waste any more energy on any of those unhealthy feelings that were created in situations where you may very well be the person who's been wronged. You're the one that was abused, or the one not appreciated, the one not respected, and so on, or just being taken advantage of. So all those feelings you have, it doesn't mean that when you forgive somebody that the feelings you had are not valid. The way you felt remains valid. You know, you can still have validation to the feelings you had that led you to perhaps maybe not feel good towards somebody, that led to where, yeah, now you're in a position where you've decided to forgive them. So those feelings are there for a reason to indicate that, yeah, something was not right. And this has to do with something else that's called self-respect. You know, you have a right to respect yourself. You don't have to forfeit your having respect for yourself when you forgive somebody. When you forgive somebody, remember, it's for you. So when you forgive somebody, you still get to maintain your self-respect. You still get to set boundaries and keep those boundaries. You understand that you can forgive somebody but still not associate with them, okay? So that's what I hope to, get you to think about if you're somebody watching this video right now, and perhaps you're in a relationship where you're not appreciated, whether you've been abused, or where it's so one-sided to where you are your time, your energy, your resources, your psychic energy, if you will, your psychological, emotional energy, which are resources, are being used up by other people just to serve their own needs, and it's a selfish, one-sided situation. You may already have reasons to be very upset with this person, and it bothers you day to day. So yes, you do want to have a sense of forgiveness. You want to forgive to where you can release all that energy. Release them, if you will, from those the energy as far as the resentment or just you're angry. But what you want to maintain is a healthy boundary. A healthy boundary can involve, remembering or being mindful of the fact that this certain person or particular people have a tendency to not respect you. They have a tendency to do things that are considered abusive, not respectful of your situation, or they're not really showing any value for your situation. So in these situations, it's a different thing. It's okay. You can set a boundary. You don't have to participate in that relationship no more. You don't have to go hang out with them, even if they try to guilt trip you or be emotionally manipulative and say, well, I thought you forgave me, right? So you forgave me, then does not equal into I have to continue to participate in this relationship any longer. So I hope that gets you to think. I think forgiveness is a good thing. It can be, first and foremost, good for you and your health. But please don't let yourself be in a situation where it becomes a point of manipulation by other people to use that concept to mean or to equal that you have to continue to participate in a relationship where they are not treating you well, they're not respecting you, or just wasting your time. So an interdependent relationship really is what is ideal. That's where you mutually benefit from each other. It's equally given in both directions. It's a healthy situation, mutual respect, and so on. If you don't have an interdependent relationship, and if you have something that's toxic, overly enmeshed, or just codependent, and so on, there's a lot of ways to describe unhealthy relationships. Then ultimately, there's an issue of boundaries and you being able to differentiate your own self, your own individuality of yourself, and separate that out and be your own person, create a healthy life, and learn healthy relationships. So it's a judgment call, and it's not something that's one size fits all for everybody. I understand that. And you got situations with individuals who have different types of relationships. It might be someone who has an ex-wife or an ex-husband, a relative, if you will. So a lot of times these turn into situations, well, it's a relative, so I can't, treat it the same way. Well, you still can have the same concept while you forgive them. If it's a situation that continues to not be respectful to you, you can still set boundaries. You can have limitations to when there's certain types of interaction. There'll be rules by how the relationship, if it continues in any capacity, how that goes. So there's different ways of managing and having healthy boundaries, and you can still forgive people, but just think about that. forgiveness by default doesn't automatically mean you have to continue in any type of relationship that's not respectful to your person, your individuality, the value of your life, and the value of your situation, and so on. So I think you get the idea. What are your thoughts and comments on this? And just to make a point at the end of the video, I'm not saying that forgiveness is not something you should do, because it is a good thing. It helps you to heal, helps you to move forward, and it really is ultimately going to release you so you don't carry that with you. And the second point is, though, remember, you have the right to still live a good life, have boundaries, and you don't have to continue in those relationships that don't respect you. So drop a comment below if you have your thoughts. Subscribe to my channel if you like. I appreciate it. I'll be making videos every week from different topics on mental health, physical fitness, and topics of interest. This month is mental health awareness or mental illness awareness month. So I'm dropping a few videos on different topics that kind of relate to people's psychological, emotional health in terms of how we regulate our internal experience, and more specifically, our experience of ourselves as it relates to other people, situations, places, things, and so on. Because how we cope with that, how we deal with that, how we differentiate between situations does have an impact on stress, on anxiety, and quality of life, and also our ability to take care of ourselves. So until I make another video again, I hope you have a good day and take care.